What if one of the Beatles' early hits was born out of childhood memories? Or maybe not. As with many things in Beatles history, the truth depends on which member you ask. Today, we're diving into the story behind Do You Want to Know a Secret? A song that may seem simple, but hides a surprising conflict between John Lennon and Paul McCartney. John Lennon and Paul McCartney are celebrated as the creative backbone of the Beatles, responsible for penning most of the band's most memorable songs. Early in their career, they agreed that any song they co-wrote, regardless of who did most of the work, would carry the shared Lennon-McCartney credit. This deal helped strengthen their partnership, but it also created confusion and occasional disagreement about who actually wrote what. For instance, both men later disagreed over who deserved more credit for classics, like Eleanor Rigby and In My Life. And that wasn't the only time their memories clashed. Take the lesser-known case of Do You Want to Know a Secret, a track from their 1963 debut album, Please Please Me, which later saw a U.S. single release. Though George Harrison sang the lead, the song's origin story varies depending on whether you hear it from John or Paul. According to John, the idea for the song stemmed from his early childhood. He remembered his mother, someone he described as cheerful and musical, though not a professional, used to sing a tune with a line from a Disney film, "Do you want to know a secret? Promise not to tell." That melody, he said, stuck with him for years. Eventually, he developed it into a full song and passed it to George, thinking it would suit his bandmate because it had a limited vocal range, ideal for someone who, at the time, was still developing as a singer and mostly focused on guitar. Paul, however, remembered the process differently. In his version, the song wasn't handed over by John after the fact. It was a deliberate, equal collaboration written specifically for George to sing. This paints the picture of a co-writing session aimed at giving George his moment, rather than a hand-me-down from John. The Beatles recorded the track on February 11, 1963, during a whirlwind studio session where they completed the Please Please Me album in just one day. George took the lead on vocals and guitar, while John and Paul contributed backing vocals and rhythm guitar. Ringo Starr provided the drums. Later, George reflected on the song as his feature moment on the album, but he wasn't proud of his vocal performance. He admitted that, at the time, he didn't really know how to sing, and no one had guided him through the process yet. The song went on to have a life beyond the Beatles. Later that same year, Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas, another Liverpool act managed by Brian Epstein, recorded their own version at Abbey Road Studios. Their rendition soared to #1 on the charts, giving the song fresh momentum and visibility beyond George's initial performance. So, who really wrote Do You Want to Know a Secret? Was it born from Lennon's childhood nostalgia, or was it crafted in partnership with McCartney for George's debut vocal? The truth, like much of the Beatles' legacy, lies somewhere in between, colored by memory, ego, and time.